Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Create with Lorie. I'm Lorie and I'm the teen librarian at Manlius Library, and I'm coming to you this week from the teen room. And we are going to paint fireworks. For that you will need a black canvas. If you don't have a black canvas, you can use a white one, but your first step is going to be to cover this completely with black paint and let it dry entirely. Overnight would be best, okay? You also are going to want some paints. Everybody, no matter what, is going to want white paint. And then you'll just pick whatever colors you want to use for your fireworks. You'll need a selection of brushes, some bigger ones for the glow behind the firework, and then some smaller ones for when we're painting the detail work of the actual firework, okay? So a selection of big and small brushes, some water to rinse your brushes, and a cloth or a paper towel to dry your brushes in between colors. All right, let's paint fireworks. Okay, so we've got our canvas. You've either got a black canvas or black piece of cardboard, or you've taken a white canvas and you've painted it black. Either one will work. We're going to start with the glow behind the firework. And for that, you're going to want your larger brush. Okay? And just kind of imagine where on your paper you want, or on your canvas, you want your fireworks. These are the colors I've gone with. Purple, of course, because it's me. Blue, red, yellow, and green are the colors I remember seeing the most vivid in fireworks displays as I was growing up, and white because they'll all have a bit of a white accent. So we're going to start with just a little bit of purple on the brush, and all you're going to do is kind of that. Okay, so there's a purple one. And maybe we'll do a smaller purple one here. And then we'll do a bigger purple one that's just going off. Now, as you're painting these and they start to dry, you'll notice that the canvas, especially with the black, really absorbs the color. So these are going to get more and more faded, which is actually what we want. You don't want to really glop the paint on. You want this is just going to be the glow behind the firework. Okay, so that's going to be a nice big one. This one maybe will be one of those little ones that has a shooter that goes up that you can see. Okay, so we're going to rinse our brush. You want to make sure to dry it off good. Dry it off well. Okay, let's see, maybe we'll add a red one right here. Again, this is just the glow that's behind your firework. And you can use whatever colors you want, and you can do it in any design that you want. You'll notice that I'm leaving about a quarter of the canvas empty at the bottom, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay, nice big red one there. That's our brush. Dry it off. And we'll do maybe a giant green one right over here in the corner. Well, let me see part of it. I made the mistake that I so often do if you've been following me. I did not put protective anything down. So I'm going to get paint on the table, I'm certain of it. This is acrylics we're using, and they are washable off this table. Okay. And then maybe a little yellow one here. And they can overlap. You can put on as many fireworks as you want. We'll pretend this is the grand finale of fireworks shows. So there's a yellow one there. maybe a really big yellow one over here. You're just kind of going in a circle. Okay. And then maybe down here, there's another one of those squiggly ones. Okay. And rinse our brush one more time. And we'll do some blue. Maybe put a blue one up in this corner. And maybe a nice blue one here. That's going to overlap with the green and the yellow nicely. Maybe a little squiggly one there. And one there. When you're doing the lines, you want them to be this way, straight up and down, because otherwise you it'll look like everybody's watching the fireworks from an angle, and you want them to be straight up and down. Okay, and then maybe one more purple one, just because I love purple. Although we only have one green, so maybe I'll do one more green one. I'll do a little green one in here. You can see, as I was talking about before, it's already starting to dry and it's fading just a little bit. Okay, so you'll have almost a colored shadow behind. Let's do a little one here. Not a squiggly one, but a little one. Okay, now we're going to let this dry a little bit, but while we're doing that, I told you we were leaving kind of a horizon here, and we can pretend that these are over water. So what we're going to do is take one of our small brushes and dip it in. You want to get your brush wet and dip it in the white just a little bit. Okay, that might be a little too wet. There we go. Dip it in the white just a little bit, because you just want to kind of put a dot here. Then we're going to measure with our brush. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, we're going to come right over here and same distance up. Let's wipe that off. And then we're just going to do kind of a horizon. Now the reason you really want to measure that up is because just like your lines up and down this way, you really want your horizon to be straight. Otherwise people will be thinking they're looking at your picture from crooked. Okay. And we can work on that horizon line later. What we're going to do, wash and dry that off, and we're going to go back to using our flat brush, our big flat brush, and we're going to do a reflection, like this is water. So we're looking at it maybe from a boat in the middle of the water. So let's start with the big ones in the corner. So we've got green over here, and that is all the way down. And you're just going to do kind of a squiggle. Okay? And then there's a green one there, which is up a little farther. You want to really line it up. So we'll do that, but we know we're going to need to leave room for purple and yellow and then for red. So there's green there. Okay, and then there's another one there. I'm going to turn this just a little bit to do this at the right angle. Okay, and this one is really close. All right, so there's our 3 green. And we'll do our purple. This is something to do while your shadows are drying. So the purple, this one is going to be here, and you know it's going to be closer to the edge than your green. We'll do that there, and it's a big one, so it's going to have a nice big. And then this one here is going to be here. Okay. Oh. Let me have this purple one here. And this is just one of those little squiggly ones. So we're really just going to do that. Okay? And just kind of make a reflection. And then this blue one here really is probably going to kind of overtake the purple. Then there's a little squiggly blue there, and a squiggly blue there. This blue one is barely going to be in the picture because it's way up here. Okay. If you've ever watched water or fireworks over the water, you know that you don't really see, unless the water is absolutely perfectly still, you don't really see a true reflection. What you see is, let's get that red one, what you see is really just kind of a shimmer in the water. Okay, so this one, the big red one, is gonna, that reflection is gonna be right, oh, practically on top of that green. Okay, it's bigger, so we're going to make that bigger. Okay, and what are we missing? Yellow. Let's do the yellow ones. So this yellow one is going to be kind of in between these two. All right, and then we have this big yellow one over here, which is going to be right up here. And then we have our little squiggly guy here. It's just kind of so. So we have our horizon with our water, and I'll show you. We can actually do kind of a cityscape on there, and then we have our glow behind our fireworks. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry a little bit longer, and while we're doing that, we're going to take our little bitty brush, make sure it's dry and clean. We're going to dip it in the white, and we're just going to kind of do some lights, like it's the city behind it. You know, like you're watching the city from a distance, or a town from the distance, or you're watching the other side of the lake, and there's just maybe a cluster of lights here, a cluster of lights up here, maybe there's a tall building. It's got a lot of people still working. Okay. So just kind of dot on. It's not really perfect science. You can fill it in more if you want to. Okay, so now, not even cleaning your brush, we're just going to dip that into the purple. And just kind of add, because we want to carry the theme along. Okay, a little more purple. We can kind of go along here for our horizon line. Okay, again, not even cleaning our brush, dipping it in the blue. And the same thing. There's no mistakes. Putting it in the blue. And again, following that horizon line across. Okay. A little red, maybe we'll start the red over here. This is just one of those vague cityscapes that you see across a long distance. And you know there's a city over there somewhere. You don't know what it is. Unless maybe it's New York City or something and you recognize the skyline. And then a little green. Or Syracuse, and you recognize Carrier Dome, although we won't have that in our skyscape anymore, which will be strange. Okay, and we're making a horizon, just a straight horizon. Okay, and then last but not least, we'll do some yellow. Okay, so that's just city. Mix a little bit of yellow into that horizon. There we go. So we've got fireworks, and then you've got kind of your city lights in the background with the water and the reflection of the fireworks. So that's going to be dry enough. We're going to rinse off our brush. Now, something to keep in mind is if you've ever seen fireworks, they burst from the center. So no matter what shape you want to do your fireworks, you want to have them burst from the center. We're going to take a brush that's just a little bit bigger for this one. Not a lot, but a little bit. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's dry. And we're going to do white. Okay, you don't want a lot. You want to make sure it's not too runny. Okay, just get on there. And then just pick one. And from the center, they're going to burst out and then down. So out and down, out and down, out, always going from that same center point. Out and down, out and down. And some of them might be bigger, but always from that same center point. This is also a really great way to do flowers. Okay, now each of them are going to have something like that. Now these little ones are the ones that shoot up in the sky and then they just kind of burst. So you can do just a little bit of burst from there. Okay, and again, we're still, this is the second layer. There's a third layer that we're going to do. So here's the yellow one, and that one's going to burst out and down. Just kind of, it's a practice. You practice that swoop. Okay. Out and down. And then moving on to the yellow one. This is a big one. This one, these top ones are off the edge. We're going to save those for last. You want to paint your white sparingly. You can always go in and add more. This is kind of the silvery hint that's behind most fireworks. Maybe these are the kind that dribble down. When you see the silvery. Okay. Okay. And then these ones, you just kind of have to pretend you've done from the center, you've done that. See, this is where I get paint on the, okay? And then bring it down, down, down. And the same thing with this one. It's up. It's gonna go off your canvas on the top. All right. Same with this one. Just remember, the fireworks are always going to go from the same kind of center point, because fireworks go up in the air and they burst. Okay, so there we go. Step 2. Now, you'll notice I didn't do any of that down here. This is pretty much done. We don't really have to add, unless we end up doing a double color one, which we probably will, because I'll show you. They're a lot of fun and really pretty. This is really what you would see in the water. So let's rinse our brush. And without even letting the white dry, because we painted it on there dry, it's not real wet already. We're gonna go right over it and we're gonna do the same thing with the same strokes, but with the colors. So I started with the blue, so we'll start with the blue. And you're not trying to match exactly. You're just doing strokes. Okay? Like that. And then maybe a little bit of that in the middle. And then add a little blue for that center burst glow. Okay? Then we're going to come back here to the blue. And we're going to dot these. Okay, and then a little bit of white for that center burst glow, where they burst from. Oh, we didn't do this one, so I guess we'll just do that and then put blue on top of it. Perfect. Kind of think about what ones you want on front and what ones you want to be behind. I want these to be behind, and then I'll have the green and the yellow and the purple bursting in front of them. So you do the ones that are going to be in the back. You do those first. You can see in the shadow, this red one is in front of the green one. So we're going to do the green ones first. Okay. So take your green and this is where you use a thicker coat of paint, because you don't want it to fade out like the shadow did. Okay. And just keep going until you have it the way you want it. So we're going to do this green and always start in the center and go out. That's a little wet. Start in the center and go out. Whoop. I broke my own rule, and see, it's gloppy. Start in the center and go out. All right. I think that one we're going to make a double color one, just because it's very involved looking. So we'll take a little bit of blue and just go right on top of it. You know, some of those ones that they go up in the air and then they burst into a couple of different colors. Those are always one of my favorites. And then we're going to come right over here and mix that all right up and just kind of muddle up the middle of that a little bit. Okay. I think this green one, because you can see I didn't put any blue here, so we need to take a little bit of blue. Put a little bit of blue there. This one, pardon me, I dripped a drip of water on there. This one, I think we're going to do green behind, yellow in front. Okay, just keep. And then if we do that, we're going to have to add just a little bit of yellow on top of that. All right, and then a little green, a little yellow, a little white, just kind of in the middle there for a glow. Okay. Now the purple ones. Do this one first. Purple. I always loved purple fireworks. And these can come down on top of the others because they're in front of. You're going to see those bigger and bolder because they're the ones that are closer to you and they came after the ones we already did. Okay. And maybe we'll do that yellow one there. Maybe that one crossed over the purple one. This is kind of wet. All right, so yellow, just maybe kind of, whoops. Important lesson, always pay attention to where you're putting your paintbrush or you will end up with a purple instead of yellow firework. Okay, it takes practice. I clearly still need some practice as well. I'm going to move to just a little bit smaller brush. Add some smaller swoops to this one. Okay, and I'm going to swoop that one out too. Then we have this one, which kind of looks like a palm tree. And it just kind of disappears into the water. So it's really close to the shore. Like that. Okay, what are we missing? Still got a few purple ones. Grab my bigger brush for that one. Okay, just paint on the tip and swoop. Paint on the tip and swoop. I did a lot of fireworks. This is clearly a grand finale. You could make yours more or less involved than this. And then this little purple guy. Just kind of swoop. There's no right or wrong way to do it. As long as you are going from the center and bursting out. Okay, I made that one a little bigger, so we're going to put a little bit more here. And then we've got our last three. We've got the blue in the corner, the red, and the yellow. I'm going to dry my brush off well. We'll start with the red or the blue in the corner. Okay, and we're just swooping that up. And then really mainly down. You may find you like using the bigger brush or the littler brush. Okay, and that should really probably come down there. Whoop. As anyone who's seen any of these programs before can attest, I am a messy crafter. So here's red. From the center, swooping down. This one's really big, big grand finale. So swoop it right out. The white that you've used are, whoop, I got a little too much white on my brush. The white that we used first is really a guideline. It's partly the silvery goldish glow that's behind a firework, but it's also kind of a guideline for where your firework is going to go. This is a big one, so we're going to really go big. And this is a big one down here, so we're going to add a little more to it. Okay, and they kind of fade out as they get to the bottom. And then, just like the others, we're going to add a little bit of white and kind of squiggle out that center. Last one, yellow, and I think that one is going to be right up on top of the rest. I can use, go back to this brush, and you can use whatever brushes you have, whatever brushes you like. I got a little too much paint on there, okay, and big swoops. Blending right into the ones that it's in front of. And maybe this is one of those that shoots off little rockets, so they don't all seem attached. That one actually turned out to be quite a bit bigger here than I originally had planned. So we're gonna just back and forth, back and forth. Okay. And there you have it. Put all of our brushes in the water to rinse them. Use our paper towel to wash the paint off the table. And grab this, and I will use the purple to, I think, right here. Line it. Okay? And there you have it. A beautiful firework display. You've got your city in the background, you've got your horizon, your water has the reflections of your fireworks. You just want to really make sure, this one isn't very lined up there, is it? We're going to add that one. Okay, see how this one, the yellow kind of took it over, but I do want a little bit of a reflection there. Okay. And that one too. Okay. So we've got our reflections in the water, and we've got our firework grand finale display. If you want to go back over after and add, I don't have a clean brush, highlights of lighter colors, sometimes that can give it more of a 3D look. For example, a little bit of white. I still have blue on this, so we'll do one of the blue ones. A little bit of white, a little bit of blue, mixing it in the middle, and maybe on top, just a lighter. There's your fireworks. I'm going to get cleaned up and I'll give you a few final words, including the secret code for the Teen Summer Reading Program. Well, thanks for joining me today. My name is Lorie, and this has been Create with Lorie. I'm the teen librarian at Manlius Library. You can find me here on the Manlius Library YouTube channel every Thursday at 4 o'clock for a different art or craft activity. If you are signed up for the Teen Summer Reading Program, your secret code is WIZARD, capital W-I-Z-A-R-D, WIZARD. Head over to your account, find the Create with Lorie mission, and enter that secret code for today's activity. Firework paintings. I hope you had a good time. I hope I'll see you next week. Happy reading. Stay cool.